What the ancestors saw standing, the child must not pretend is not there. In the quiet moments before the sun claims the sky, when the world is painted in shades of charcoal and cool blue, our people have always gathered around the fire. It is here, in the warmth of the embers, that wisdom is passed not through lectures, but through stories, through shared silence, and through the simple act of being together. It is a tradition as old as the land itself, a living library of our collective memory. And within this library, there is an old saying, a foundational truth that has guided us through countless generations. It is a saying that speaks to the very heart of how we understand our place in the world. They called it a foundation, not a command. This isn't a command to live in the past, but a profound invitation to see with clear eyes. It is a call to acknowledge the deep structures of existence, the patterns that our forebears observed with patience and humility over millennia. They saw the unyielding cycle of the seasons, the immutable bond between a mother and her child, the way communities thrived not through isolated effort, but through interconnectedness. These were not fleeting observations. They were truths etched into the very fabric of life, as solid and present as the mountains on the horizon. To ignore them would be like pretending the river does not flow to the sea, or that the sun will not rise in the morning. It is a form of blindness, a refusal to learn from the vast, accumulated experience of humanity. Long before laws were written on paper or stone, there were unwritten laws that governed human hearts. Long before borders were drawn with ink on maps, creating divisions where none existed in nature, there were natural boundaries of kinship and custom. And long before modern ideas of marriage existed, with their contracts and legal frameworks, human beings observed themselves honestly. They looked at their own lives, their families, their neighbors, and they saw the threads that held them all together. This was an era of profound self-reflection, not driven by abstract philosophy, but by the immediate, pressing realities of survival, of love, of loss, and of legacy. They were scientists of the human condition. Their laboratory, the village square, the hunting path, the birthing hut. Their instruments were empathy, intuition, and an unflinching gaze at the world as it was, not as they wished it to be. When the same patterns appeared across lands that never met, across faiths that never spoke the same name for God, and across bodies that obey no law but nature, our ancestors did not call it coincidence. They saw the emergence of family structures, the roles of mothers and fathers, the importance of extended kin, not as a local custom, but as a universal response to a universal condition. From the frozen tundra to the sun-scorched desert, from the dense jungle to the windswept coast, humanity was independently discovering the same fundamental architecture for social life. It was as if a single blueprint was being read in 1,000 different languages. They understood that when a seed planted in different soils yields the same kind of tree, the truth lies not in the soil, but in the seed itself. They called it truth revealing itself, a quiet, persistent revelation. Not a thunderclap from the heavens, but a whisper carried on the wind, a pattern seen in the stars, a rhythm felt in the pulse. It was the truth of our own nature, emerging from the collective human experience. To understand the foundations of human connection, we must walk these ancient paths. In this chapter, we will look at 3 powerful, interwoven forces that shaped human family structures long before modern law ever existed: faith, biology, and necessity. First, faith. The spiritual and mythological frameworks that gave our lives meaning and moral structure, defining sacred duties and relationships. Second, biology. The undeniable primal impulses and realities of our bodies, the drives for procreation, protection, and bonding that are written into our very DNA. And third, necessity. The stark, practical demands of survival that forced us to cooperate, to form stable units, to ensure that the next generation would endure. These 3 forces are not separate streams, but a braided river, each current shaping and being shaped by the others. Our purpose here is not to tell anyone how to live, or to claim that the old ways are the only ways. The world has changed, and we must change with it. But it is to ask a deeper question, a question that echoes through the ages. Why does humanity, in all its incredible diversity, keep returning to the same questions about love, family, and belonging? By looking back, we do not seek to retreat. We seek to understand the bedrock on which we now stand, to hear the whispers of those who came before, and to recognize the truths they saw standing, so that we, their children, might see them too. Religion did not invent desire. It responded to it. Across civilizations, spiritual systems did not assume humans were perfect. They assumed humans were tempted, emotional, and unequal in strength. In many religious traditions, polygyny was not introduced as rebellion, but regulated as responsibility. In Islam, a man was permitted more than one wife only under strict conditions of justice and provision, not desire without duty. In the ancient Hebrew tradition, the patriarchs lived openly with multiple wives. Their lives were not portrayed as flawless, but as human. African traditional belief systems often viewed marriage as a communal contract, not a private romance. The question religion asked was never, "What feels ideal?" It asked instead, "What prevents chaos?" Faith attempted to place guardrails around human weakness, not deny it. These structures were not always comfortable, but they were rarely dishonest. In the grand theater of human culture, with its intricate rules and soaring ideals, there is a voice that is often overlooked. It doesn't shout or command. It doesn't write laws or sing anthems. Biology speaks quietly, but it speaks consistently. It is the steady, rhythmic drumbeat beneath the symphony of civilization, a current that flows through every society, in every era. This biological truth is written not in books, but in our very cells, in the fundamental drives that have ensured our survival for millennia. It is a language of instinct, of impulse, of the body's deep and ancient wisdom. To understand the structures we build, we must first listen to this quiet voice, for it lays the foundation upon which everything else is constructed. When we look across the vast tapestry of the natural world, we see this language expressed in countless ways. Across mammalian species, reproductive strategies differ, each one a unique solution to the universal problem of continuing the lineage. Some species form lifelong bonds, raising offspring in tight-knit family units. Others are more solitary, their encounters fleeting, driven by seasonal cycles. There is no single, natural way, only a spectrum of behaviors, each perfectly adapted to its specific ecological niche. From the fiercely protective lioness to the wandering bull elephant, nature has explored 1,000 paths to the same destination, the next generation. This diversity is not chaos. It is a testament to the adaptability of life itself. Within our own species, these biological undercurrents are just as present. For the human male, the biological cost of creating a new life is, in its most basic sense, minimal. The potential for procreation is vast and can be repeated with little physiological consequence. Males often have the biological capacity for repeated reproduction, a strategy of quantity. This is not a moral judgment, but a simple biological observation. It is a physical reality that has shaped male psychology and behavior for eons, creating a drive to seek multiple partners, to spread genetic material widely. This impulse, rooted deep in our evolutionary past, does not simply vanish in the face of social rules. It remains a powerful, persistent force. For the female, the story is profoundly different. The biological investment is immense, a commitment of body and time that is orders of magnitude greater. Females carry greater biological investment: pregnancy, childbirth, and nurturing. The 9-month gestation is a total physical transformation, a redirection of the body's entire resources toward the creation of another. Childbirth is a trial of endurance and risk, and afterward, the period of lactation and intensive care for a helpless infant demands a near total devotion. This is a strategy of quality, of investing heavily in a smaller number of offspring to ensure their survival. This profound physical and energetic commitment shapes a different set of priorities, a different psychological landscape. This fundamental asymmetry, this profound difference in the biological stakes of reproduction, is not a flaw in the design. It is the design itself. And this imbalance creates tension. It is crucial to understand this. This is not a question of good or evil, of right or wrong, not morality, tension. It is a primal, structural tension, like the tension in a tectonic plate, a force that exists independent of our wishes or our judgments. It is the inherent push and pull between the male impulse for quantity and the female necessity for quality and security. It is a dynamic force that has been at the very center of the human social experiment since its inception. Faced with this powerful underlying tension, our ancestors did not try to wish it away. They were pragmatists, grounded in the realities of survival. Human societies did not ignore this reality. They structured around it. They built elaborate systems of kinship, of marriage, of social obligation. They created rules and rituals designed to manage this biological tension, to channel it in ways that would ensure the stability of the group and the protection of the next generation. These structures, monogamy, polygyny, complex family networks, were all attempts to build a stable bridge across this biological divide. The institution of marriage, in its many forms, is the most visible of these structures. The deep emotional connection between two individuals is a powerful human experience. Pair bonding exists, but exclusivity is not universal across history. For much of our past, and in many cultures, the idea of a marriage based solely on romantic love and strict lifelong sexual exclusivity was the exception, not the rule. Marriages were often alliances, economic partnerships, social contracts designed to bind families and ensure a stable environment for children. Yet, no matter how strong the social structure, no matter how clear the rules, the quiet voice of biology persists. The human heart, with its capacity for deep attachment, and the human body, with its primal urges, cannot be fully legislated. Desire does not disappear because it is prohibited. To forbid something is not to extinguish it. It is merely to force it into the shadows. It finds new pathways. It learns the language of whispers and stolen glances. It thrives in the spaces between the rules. It adapts. It hides. It reappears in secrecy. The forbidden affair, the secret love, the clandestine encounter, these are not modern inventions. They are as old as the rules they transgress, a testament to the enduring power of a biological current that cannot be dammed, only diverted. This is not an argument for anarchy or a rejection of social order. Understanding the biological source of this tension is not a license to act without consequence. Biology does not tell us what is right. It offers no moral compass, no simple answers to complex human dilemmas. It is descriptive, not prescriptive. What it does offer is an explanation. It explains the cracks that appear in even the most rigid social structures. It explains the persistence of behaviors that cultures have tried for centuries to suppress. It explains why pretending desire does not exist has never erased it. To deny this biological reality is to build our societies on a foundation of pretense, to be perpetually surprised when the ancient currents of human nature inevitably find their way to the surface. True wisdom lies not in ignoring this tension, but in understanding it, respecting its power, and building our lives and societies with that knowledge in mind. As societies grew larger, law replaced custom. Industrialization demanded order, property demanded clarity, inheritance demanded simplicity. Monogamy became efficient, not because it reflected all human behavior, but because it was easier to regulate. Law favors what can be counted. But law cannot govern desire. It can only punish outcomes. And so a quiet divide emerged between what society allows publicly and what people live privately. Structures changed, human nature did not. When conversation is forbidden, secrecy becomes culture. When options are denied, double lives emerge. Many modern families are not broken because of structure, but because honest discussion is impossible. This contradiction goes unquestioned, not because it makes sense, but because questioning it feels dangerous. Silence protects comfort, but silence has never protected families. In the next chapter, we will examine a question most societies avoid. Can openness create more stability than denial? And what happens when responsibility is negotiated openly, instead of enforced silently? These are not easy questions, but history shows that avoiding them has never made them disappear.